Good morning, people. How are we doing today? I'm doing good. Hopefully, we can see gold start selling off again. So that's gonna make the day even better. Siema, siema. Not sleep yet. Been waiting since yesterday, and it's really early for me. Why are you waiting so long? Get some sleep. The streams are gonna be saved anyway, so you can just watch them back. Got my leverage sorted. Already up 5k. Damn, that's a lot of money in one day. My Vantage in transfer is still pending, but you just have to wait. Sometimes it can be a bit slow. Like if you're placing trade while the transfer is pending, it's gonna take longer. So just don't worry about it now. Like if you're not gonna trade during the weekend, then that's where your transfer should be completed. Gut feel. Yeah, honestly, like today's open was just so ridiculous. I just left my shorts open, like when gold was here, and just went to sleep. And I thought I was gonna wake up to more profits, but then I wake up and gold is like up here. So that was just some bullshit, straight up pump of the right of the open. But so far, like I don't think anything has changed. Like I think we're just gonna continue down. Do you see gold remaining bearish again today? Yes. I think this entire push was just a fake out just to grab more liquidity, and we should continue down. Let me just get rid of all the previous arrows that we had. But just look how perfect this push yesterday was. Drop down, we went down to this demand, push up, retracement, took out that previous structure point here, and then melt down into that demand we had. And from there, we got this push. But yeah, literally, even after I left the stream, everything happened exactly as we talked about. Where are we gonna watch your lives from tomorrow? Well, tomorrow is Friday, so I'm still gonna be live on Kick. And all the live recordings, they are gonna be on YouTube. I love your streams, bro. You should do them more often. The new TJR for sure. Yeah, TJR doesn't know how to trade. Are you adding more cells, Direct? Yes, I already added more cells today, so I don't think I'm gonna get any more entries on stream. We'll see. But I've already added an extra 1.5 lot to my cells, so if I do start adding more cells and it turns out that I'm wrong, then the account is gonna be gone. So we'll see. But even the bubbles right now, they are telling us to sell. So I think like a push up, sweep the structure point would be good for us. You know, maybe like tap into like the higher part of the range. But yes, as soon as like this structure breaks, we could start looking for some sells. So from Monday, you will live stream on YouTube. No, I'm not gonna do streams on YouTube. I'm just gonna do streams on Kick, and then the uploading of the stream is gonna be on YouTube. Can you explain how the volume works? Does the color of the volume matter? No, the volume of the, the color of the volume doesn't matter. It just has the same volume as the candle itself. The volume colors have the same color as the candles itself, but the color doesn't matter. Like, you just want to see the spikes or the downs, and that's what's gonna tell you like if there's money at those specific levels at that specific time, or if there isn't. But right now we can also see we had a sweep of that little structure here, so that's given us that push now, where we could potentially see maybe a sweep of this structure and a tap into that higher part of the range, where we could start looking for swords and just continue moving down. So far, I'm not sure if we're gonna break down yesterday's low, but we should go down like at least into the lower part of this range. So like I said in that Instagram video, like once the price comes down here, then we can decide if we have enough volume, enough momentum to either reverse and continue pushing up or just melt below the previous lows. What's your current streaming schedule? Right now, we just stream around the 6:30 volume injections. So we start at 6 a.m. UK time. So for those who have followed you in Kick, we can still enter the trades. Yeah, once we get an opportunity, I will tell you if we can enter or what the price is gonna do. But for now, like we had this tiny sweep of this candle, so that just looks like we're gonna push up now. How much would I need to pay you to jump on your session together later? You don't have to pay me anything. Like, I am gonna stream some New York sessions as well, just not now. Maybe next week I'll do some. But I think next week, Friday, we have NFP, so maybe I can do a stream. I'm trading the NFP. Is it a good idea to take a buy from here to the structure point? If you want to scalp your way up, then yeah, why not? You know, we had this baby sweep. If we jump to the 1 minute, and I guess we can see a little bit of a volume spike. But overall, I think we should just push above, sweep this structure point, and then maybe start moving down. Are you going to enter buy now? It swept the low and came into the 15-minute bullish fair value gap. If you're gonna use fair value gaps on my stream, then I'm just gonna ban you, because we don't use that. We don't follow the sheep. But yeah, for now, if you wanna scalp your way up to around this area, then yeah, a buy is good, but I'm not looking for buys. I would rather wait for the price to go sweep that area, maybe tap a bit higher, and then just continue selling. Will your NFP stream be public or VIP? I can do a public one, you know, just to show you that, you know, it's possible. Because, you know, so far we have 100% win rate on stream. I'm trying to pass my funded account, then pull up on your advantage. Yeah, that's good. Just get a payout and come join. Are you holding some? I'm holding the sales still. You know, I didn't close my sales yesterday because I was expecting gold to just continue. So I thought I was gonna wake up to more profits, but then I woke up and gold just did this. So at that point, I just lost half of the profit. So I'm just holding now to see what's gonna happen. And I added some more entries around the top here, and I had some shared entries around this area. Have you met other stream traders? No, I don't usually hang out with any other traders. In my opinion, like traders who stream or traders who do social media, apart from me, obviously, like they are just not good people. Like every trader you meet in real life, they just have a massive ego. They think they are better than everyone else, and just talking to them is like talking to a wall. You know, they treat everything like a dick measuring contest, like who has a bigger dick. And like that's just not the type of people I want to surround myself with. How's life away from home? It's pretty good. You know, Asia is nice and fun. The weather is good pretty much the entire year. You know, there's a lot of things you can just do in Asia, which you wouldn't be able to do in, let's say, a European country or whatever other first world country you're from. And, you know, just living in Asia just makes you feel more free. You know, you don't feel like everybody's chasing something. Like everybody's happy here, no matter where they come from, what they do. You should touch down South Africa when you're tired of Asia. I don't know. I heard it's not very safe in South Africa. Since you live in the UK, how much you think you should make a month to be comfortable? Like, I don't live in the UK anymore. I live in Asia. But let's say if you are living in the UK, then 5K a month is good enough. Price gap that open, do you think price will retrace to fill the gap? Well, technically, this push down like gave us like a tiny sweep of that open gap. So I'm not sure if we can entirely fill like the full gap. You know, if we just start breaking down now, then yeah. But this area right now could provide us some rejections. If there is like a lot of volume coming at this area, then we could just reverse from here. I'd love to spend some time in Vietnam. Yeah, that's a beautiful place too. You should come to visit Cambodia. I will eventually. You know, now that I got my things set up in Bali, I can just start traveling a bit more. You live by your own in Bali or with fam? I live with my girlfriend. What's your trading plan for today? Well, the plan is to see if gold can pull up, sweep that structure point, and give us some entry so we can just continue selling. Thank you for yesterday's trade. I recovered significantly. Only one trade left to recover all the accounts and pass the evaluation challenge. Well, congrats to you. Hope you pass it today. Is Bali expensive? It can be. Like most of the people you meet in Bali, like they literally pay like 200 quid for rent and then they spend like 100 quid just going out eating food. But you know, for example, this place that I live now, it costs like 5.4k a month. That's British pounds. So, you know, it just depends how you want to live and what you're gonna do. $630 volume injection may reach the level we want. Yeah, I think it's very likely that $630 could just open with like a big push to one side and then reverse the other way. Have you heard about Medellin? I have. Just tell us what's gonna happen after you end stream. We should watch over there. Yeah, every time I end the stream, I just tell you what I think is gonna happen next. So even like the sales that we had yesterday, I know many of you were holding down to here, and some of you even hold it down to here. It would be great to have a Bali traders meetup and learning retreat. Well, that's something we can do in the future. Maybe not necessarily Bali, like me and the guys in my VIP. We prefer Thailand for a meetup. You know, just so we can hang out, chill, and there's just a lot more stuff to do in a place like Bangkok. Finally, I held yesterday's trade and took what the market gave me. I didn't get greedy like the previous streams. That's good. Taking profits is always good. When using volume for confirmation, which time frame do you recommend? So when you're watching the volume, like 5 minutes and 1 minute is what you want to be looking at. Because if you go to like 1 hour, then you can see that these volume bars, they don't tell you much details. And the point with watching the volume is the fact that you want to see the details. You want to see like these tiny spikes, drops, and everything else. Thanks for yesterday. Started with minus 7,000 from bad signals since trading with you. Broke even. Now up 1,500. That's amazing. See, just few days in, and it's so much money made. Do you look at the charts as liquidity pools? If liquidity taken or not? I don't really care about that. Like, for me, every structure low, structure high is just an area where the market could potentially reverse. I don't look at it as, yeah, there is a liquidity pool. If price comes down, liquidity gets grabbed or something. Like, it's just about a bunch of BS social media talks about, and it just makes trading overcomplicated. Just find areas of accumulations, find structure points, and these areas just most of the time respect the price when it comes back to those areas. Closed yourselves. I closed it before getting screwed by gold yesterday. No, I didn't close. I thought I was gonna wake up to more profits today, but then I woke up and gold printed a massive dildo. Long now, good idea. Not right now. You know, if you want to take the extra unnecessary risk, then you could potentially try to scalp your way up to the top of this range. But like for me, this is not good enough to start buying. And I don't want to be scalping my way up. I want to just get into one good trade and then let it ride for a while. I just moved to Europe from Bangkok, a bit boring. Phuket good. Yeah, I haven't been to Phuket, but I do like Bangkok. Like big city and a lot of things to do. You're using supply and demand strategy. Well, technically yes, because it's easier to explain to people. But for me, this is just like accumulations or initiations areas. So you know when price comes back to them, they are often respected. Tell me which we need to change in our trading view. I'm not sure what you mean. What's your entry? And are you going for shorts? I am going for shorts, and I haven't got any entries on stream yet. I just hold all the yesterday shorts that I was holding, and I added some more shorts at this top and around this area. But for now on stream, I haven't opened any trades. What is your process like when you're creating a weekly bias? Do you prepare during the weekend? What time frame do you start your analysis? I don't really do any of that. Like for me, whenever I start a day, I just open the 5-minute chart and I see what it's trying to tell me. I look at the volume, I see if we had like any structured sweeps, any big impulses. Then I decide. If I have to zoom out, then I start zooming out from like 15-minute, 30-minute, 1 hour, and then I go up. In short, from 46.34. Yeah, that's a good short entry. I would just keep holding it. It's like my first target for the shorts would be this area. If we can break through that area, then I would say the daily low is gonna go. But I'm not sure if it's gonna happen today. Do I use a stop loss? For example, for yesterday's sell, did you set stop losses? No, I didn't, because that account was just specifically funded so I can just go all in on the shorts. Do you use Fibonacci? I don't. When EA will be available for community, I'm not sure. I'm still testing it. You know, there are days where it's doing exceptionally good, and there are days where it's just spazzing out and not doing anything good. So I still want to test some things and make sure that it's consistent enough. When will be the next competition? I don't know. Maybe I can think of doing something in a few weeks, just so we got some extra content for the streams. What level do you want to enter it? Like, if we could sweep that structure point, then I would start looking for sells. Obviously, this doesn't mean just enter right at this level. You know, just want to see if we can break that level and how the price is gonna react. You've got 2K account. What lot size do you recommend? Like on a 2K account, like 0.1 is safe enough. But if you're not comfortable enough, then you can just go with like 0.05 and just grow the account slowly. Which time frame better, 5 or 15 minute? Like, none of the time frames are better. You should just use all the time frames at once, because price is fractal. So you basically just see the same thing, just on a different scale. The reason I often just watch the 5 minute is because it shows me the details that I need. I know you're not entering, but please tell us if you see a safe entry. I will. If the entry is good enough, I'm gonna add just an extra trade to my flip. But because I already added some entries today, I don't wanna overexpose the account. Because if I'm wrong and the price starts retracing, then the account is gonna be gone. How long have you traded? I started 8 years ago. Overall target for the day? Well, target as in money wise, I don't have any targets, but for now, I would just like to see the price come down to this range. Then we can see how the price reacts, and potentially we can either go for a breakdown below, or it's gonna get respected and push up. I just got funded on 50K. What sizes you usually use on 50K accounts? I don't trade funded accounts, but like 0.25 is good enough if you want to be safe on the account. You could even go to like 0.5 if you can take more risk. Why don't you use prop firms and risk their money? Because for one, you don't risk their money. Like you're trading a demo account. Even if you get funded, they never give you a live account. You're always on demo, and you always have some stupid rules to worry about. And most of the prop firms, they have some hidden rules which they can just breach your account whenever they feel like. Even if you've done nothing wrong, they can just say you traded within a certain window during the news, and then your account is gone. And for you to even get funded, it's gonna take you like at least 4 weeks just to pass stage 1, stage 2, and get a payout. So you're basically just wasted an entire month with no guarantees of ever getting paid. If I put my money into a broker, I can just withdraw the money 10 minutes later. And obviously, like on that flip that I started yesterday, I turned 2K into 20K. Like if I did that kind of profit on a funded account, they would just ban me and not give me the money. So no, thank you. The volume is low, can consider a buy. No, I wouldn't consider a buy. Like if if you feel like taking the risk, then sure, you could potentially try to scalp your way, but I would rather wait for the sales. How to differentiate between sweep and structure break? Well, a sweep is just like a tiny sweep below that previous structure or above, just depends. A break, this was a break because you had a clean follow through. So for me, like the candles itself, they don't matter. It's just about how much the price went below that structure, if there was a follow through or if there wasn't. How much is the VIP? It's free to join. Yeah, and so far it looks like the 630 opened and we're not getting any pullbacks higher. So it looks like it's just gonna keep selling now. How do you scale 2K to 20K? I just keep adding entries. Obviously, doing what I did on that account is not something you can just do any day. You need a lot of luck on your side as well. Because what if I kept adding entries and then price decided to retrace and take me out? That yesterday was a very good day. There was like no confirmation for us that we're gonna retrace, so that's why I kept adding entries. Which broker would you recommend for trading gold? Like, I trade with Vantage, and for me it's good. It's like top 10 broker worldwide. I want VIP, but do you have another broker instead of Vantage? If you just DM on Telegram, then you're gonna be sent a link how to join outside of Vantage. Yeah, and right now we're getting the tap into the lower part of this range. Unfortunately, didn't get a push to get an entry, but the bubbles did say sell. Does flip work better when you know market is gonna move one-sided for the whole day, or how do you know when to? You never know, to be honest. You know, when I entered those shorts here yesterday, I was just looking for the price to retrace into this area, I didn't know it was gonna go all the way down. I was just following the price. And as I was watching the price, obviously we had no volume, nothing was changing. Then we just had that 630 entry, pull back to this zone, and nothing was changing. So nothing was telling me that we're gonna start turning into a buy. So I was just buying every pullback to the top. I mean, selling every pullback to the top. But to be honest, you never know. You just have to follow the price. You know, just like right now, I don't know if after price tapped into this previous accumulation, I don't know if we're not gonna just go all the way to the top. Because like it's impossible for anyone to know. So you just have to follow the price. And right now the price is not showing us that it wants to start reversing. So if you are holding shorts, there is no reason for you to close them. Obviously partials are good. It's never bad to take a partial. No volume means no buyer stepping in. I mean, there is some volume, but again, that volume came from the top. So for us to see some buyers stepping in, we want to see like at least a little bit of an accumulation and potentially start seeing some lower time frame structure shifts before we can decide if it's going to be a buy. You did 2K to 20K in one night just setting positions? Yes. Yeah, I know it seems like a lot, but if you consider that I entered at the top, then all the way down, this was like 800 pips. Like how often does gold move 800 pips in a day? So that's what I mean. You also need some luck on your side. You just moved 140 pips, give me a trade. Like that's not how it works. If you want to trade, you can just buy with a stop loss below this. But that buy could only maybe push the price up to this range for a retest. Now, unfortunately, today we didn't get a chance to get into the shorts on stream, but as many of you have said, you guys were shorting anyway from the top of the range. And obviously, like I said in that Instagram video, we had a structure point here, and then push today swept that structure point. And in that video today, I said once we get to the bottom of this range, we can start paying attention and just see what gold is gonna tell us. You know, we could just retrace up into this range now and then continue down. Or we could just potentially go above those structure points and just go all the way to the top. For now, we just don't know. But if we start retracing, like this would be the area we should retrace to now. If we don't start retracing, that's even better, because obviously a lot of us are holding the shorts, so we should just go for yesterday's lows. Now, are we going to take a buy? If you want, you can take a buy, but I would just be careful around this zone. And if you're gonna take a buy, just have your stop loss below this structure point. But for me, like this is still a sell. I will just wait for a retracement, and maybe we can get in at this zone. I entered at 46.07. Yeah, that's a perfect bottom entry. But still be careful, because we can just easily go lower into that range before we start retracing. That's also a possibility. When do you recommend going break even? Most of the time I don't recommend going break even at all. Just either take your profits or take a loss. Because how many times do you try to go break even, then you get stopped out at the break even, and then your trade runs to your take profit? Like, if you can see that bias is clearly shifting, then yeah, close your trade manually at break even. But setting stop losses at break even is not something I do. Bro, it's confusing. I just went around 50 pips, that's all. Like, that's not the mentality you should be trading with. Like, if that's what you want, just go to a casino. You don't have to wait. You guys get this knowledge here for free, and everything you're begging for is signals. How about watch and learn? Exactly. People just want quick money. I can get you to catch a fish today, but then what happens tomorrow? What if I die? Then you're not gonna have any more fish. But if I teach you how to catch fish yourself, then you'll be good for a lifetime. Are you making fast money trading gold? Like, this is fast money. No, so far I haven't closed any shorts yet. I'm still waiting for the price to continue going. I need to catch a fish today. I'm saying this with pain. But that's not the mentality you want to be trading with. If you're in pain to take a trade, just flip a coin. What are you aiming for? Well, right now, my first target was for the price to reach this demand zone. From this point, we could potentially see some retracement now into that previous range, but overall, I would still expect this low to go, and potentially even the yesterday's lows, because I think gold is just bearish, and like I said in today's video, it's overdue for a retracement down into this range at least. And if we just look at this in the 1 hour, it's looking perfect. We had that sweep, it's pushing down now. So I think even today, it's very likely that this low could go. Did you pay for a course to get this knowledge? No, I didn't. Everything I'm teaching you, everything I'm saying, this is just me spending thousands of hours staring at the screen. And just trying to figure out why. Why do the candles move the way they do? Why some levels are respected? Why some are not? How the candles form, how they behave. This is everything that I'm always watching. What if the price just continued down? Where can we watch to sell? If we just continue melting now, then we're probably gonna be left with some imbalance, which we can use to target later. And if we do just continue melting, then maybe as we get closer to NY, then you could see some retracement to get in. So if that happens, then before I end the stream, I'm just gonna give you some areas you could watch out for and get in later. Do I use heat map and footprint? No, I don't. Whatever you see on this chart, this is all I use. Would you recommend backtesting or deposit $100 and trade on live market after learning from you? Yes. Like I always just say, it's better to trade with a smaller account live than just trying to trade on a demo account for, I don't know, for weeks or for months. You know, if you were gonna learn how to swim, you would jump in the water. You wouldn't read a book on how to swim. And you know, trading a demo account is not gonna teach you the emotions that you feel when you're trading live and you watch the money going up and down. But obviously, even though we don't have an entry now, many of you are still shorting, so it's looking very good for us. The 15-minute just closed. Very big momentum. Let me just check silver. Silver is also pushing down. Very good. You know, this entire push today during the open is very annoying, but it looks like the bias still continues. Go touch the block I posted yesterday at 46.50. Yeah, sometimes you just have to miss your sleep if you want to get the best entries. Because a lot of the days, the good entries happened early on during the Asian session. Do you know about vector candles and the 50% IOU? I don't. Never heard of that. Can I get some buying around 46.05? Like any buys within this zone could give you some scalping potentials, but I wouldn't try to hold them too long. Now, right now we could adjust this zone to this little accumulation we had, and you can see it got tapped. So you could potentially now see that retracement into this range. Want to buy from demand zone? If you buy, like I said yesterday, buying the low of a range and selling the top of a range is always good in the long run. So even if this buy doesn't work out for you, it's still something worth taking. I don't think this buy is gonna push all the way to the top, but it could retrace up to this previous accumulation. And if we do, then we could potentially start looking for sells again from this area. What approach did you take to become a more profitable trader? I don't know, to be honest. I think just the longer you trade and you see that the trades you take, they actually work and they make money most of the time, you just start caring less about the money and you just focus more about the trade. You know, it's like a game. You know, you just want to be good at the game. And the money is just a bonus for being good. I sold with the bubbles. It's very good. It was a perfect sell. Why don't you gatekeep this knowledge? The amount of value you give it, I won't lie, it's feeding our families. It's the reason Instagram tried to deactivate account. So there's no point gatekeeping anything. You know, like there's already enough scammers in the industry who just want to take your money, sell courses. So at least I can do the opposite, and hopefully maybe one day I can become bigger than ICT, so you can start learning from these bullshit scammers. You've got your pips for the day. That's good. Hopefully we can get a little retracement soon, so we can get an entry on stream. But for now, like, we should just keep selling. What is the bubble indicator? This is my 630 injections indicator. So it tells you the bias before the 630 injection opens. And as you can see today, the bias said sell. Pray for me so I get as sharp as you while entering this trade. I created my own indicator and it's working the same as yours, but each time price gets without me, as a signal shows up. Well, no matter how good your indicator or your analysis is, if you don't pull the trigger, it doesn't matter. How you start looking on the chart each day? I just open my MetaTrader on my phone. When I wake up, I check what gold is doing, check the 5-minute, check the 15-minute, see what happened, and then I can figure out what's most likely to happen now. So then I can either get into a trade when I'm still in bed, or I can just, close the charts if there's nothing going on and just do something else until the opportunity comes. It doesn't look like a retracement, probably will keep going. Yeah, honestly, it would be better if it just kept going, because this entire retracement today was just annoying. I thought I was gonna wake up to more profits and we would just break that low, but again, it's fine. Even if we just continue breaking down now, then we should still have some opportunities for our retracement to get in later. I have been marking my charts like you. It's given me confidence and reason. That's good. And hopefully you guys can see how simple we keep it. Like, there's nothing overcomplicated about this. And the simpler you keep your strategy, the easier it is to be consistent with it. How do you know the bias to sell or buy? I'm always against bias. Well, you just watch the overall price in the chart. You can clearly say that, see that whatever we have happening right here is a sell. We made that top, big volume, multiple structure breaks, retracements. The retracement we have higher, they are just retesting previous ranges, and then we just continue melting. So the bias is obviously bearish. Obviously, sometimes in an area like this, you can still see that there is a lot of volume coming in, so you just get a trade that is a counter bias. But still, when you enter a counter trend trade, you should just keep in mind that once we reach a key level, like we had this structure sweep, it just could reverse and then continue with the bias. What hour, minute chart are you looking at now? This is 5 minutes. Like, you can see which one it is here. This year's strategy helped me a lot, and I also detect another. Now I will tell you for free, it will close to gap for any reversal. It's possible, the momentum is strong, and obviously the buying volume that we had today wasn't as good, especially the fact that this entire range just had a declining volume. So that means that this entire push higher was just a retracement, like I said in the video. So you target previous accumulation areas with volume as confirmation, basically. That's the style of your trading. Pretty much, yeah. You just see where the price initiated from or where the price accumulated, and you just use that. So whenever price comes back to that area, you just watch if there is some volume coming in. If there is volume, that just gives you the confirmation. And ideally, you should just wait for your zone or your level to start getting rejected, so then you can enter and just follow the momentum. That's how usually we get zero drawdown trades. What are all the things that you see on a chart to take a trade? It can be different every time. Like I said, like accumulations or initiation areas with big volume, they are all good signs to enter a trade. There was no confirmation for the buy. Yeah, like I said, we can, even if someone did try to buy, just have your stop loss below that low, because it could only just give a retracement higher for us to try to get into sells. But the bias is obviously sells. So you just trying to buy is going against the trend. You use 4-hour levels of accumulation. Sometimes, if you have to zoom out, like a situation like this bit of accumulation is very far, so you just have to zoom out to see what happens. But if you're just on a 5-minute, like we are potentially looking for a retracement into this area to get into a sell, then obviously you don't have to zoom out to any higher time frames, because you can see accumulation. I only watch your Instagram videos and I hardly lost one trade in a week. Yeah, see, so much free information. You don't have to spend your money, you don't have to buy anything. You can just learn from my Instagram. And it looks like silver had a sweep of that low. Gold is retesting that lower demand that we have. So we could potentially start seeing a retracement now. The 1 minute is accumulating. So I guess if this candle just starts pushing now, we could potentially go into this range, or at least like the higher part of this range. Should I do 0.2 lot sell now to make 100 and I'm done? Like, with that type of mentality that you have, you should just stop trading. Like, no offense, but you're just jumping around like you're on cocaine. About the volume confluence, should we care about the color of the volume? No, the color doesn't matter. Like when you're watching the volume, you just want to see the spikes and the declines. So obviously now we can see we have a spike and price got into the demand. So normally that is a good sign that price is going to move up. But obviously the bias for us is sells. So even if we move up, I would still look to sell once we reach the top of the range. ChatGPT calls 630 as no major thing that causes volume injection. I know, I already tried to research about this and find different reasons, but publicly there is not a single thing that explains the 630 injection. Like based on the things that I talked about with ChatGPT about the injections, it only makes sense that 6:30 is the time that Asian exchanges finalize their OTC trades for gold and other metals and other commodities too, because the injections also happen on silver, oil, so it could be like a whole commodity thing. Can we buy then? If you want to take the risk, then go for it. But I'm not buying. I would rather wait for the price to pull back and get into a sell. Because this, like right now, it looks like it's gonna continue melting. If we are lucky enough, you can just get a retracement, get in. Frankfurt session before London, but the thing is Frankfurt starts at 7 a.m. So London starts at 8 and the Frankfurt opens 1 hour early. It doesn't explain the 6:30. Because 6:30 is just such a random number. Because why not 6? Why not 7? Like there's just nothing at 6:30. The only thing ChatGPT said is that 6:30 is the time most of the top Asian exchanges finalize their OTC trades. So OTC trades is like the basically finalizing contracts into physical gold, silver, oil, or other things. So it could be the fact that these contracts go through, and that's why we see that money injection at that time. Can your indicator be used to other time zones like UK and NYC? I mean, the indicator is only built to show you the bias around the 6:30. So outside of that window, it's not going to show you anything. But day for me, try 2 times long for retracement. Just follow the trend. It's much easier. Normally, how much pips you put for your stop loss, it can be different. It could be 50 pips, it could be 200 pips, just depends on the trade. Do I have a video that teach you idea to trade? If you just watch the Instagram, watch the YouTube, and watch the live stream, that's all that you need. Like my YouTube channel has some basic quick videos that you can learn from, and that should just give you that idea of how I trade. And then just watch the Instagram videos and watch the live streams, and you're gonna see how to put it together. Have you back tested it? No, I haven't back tested the indicator for other time windows. It was already pretty difficult enough to build it just for that specific time window. But eventually I got it to work. Maybe in the next version, I can just make some settings so you can turn off the window and have the bubbles through like 24/7. So we'll see. And obviously right now we had that sweep of that previous low. So we could still be looking for our retracement a bit higher. But for now, like this high created a structure point. So even if we do go higher, we could just sweep that structure point and just continue down. But overall, I wouldn't try to buy anything. I would just wait for the price to retrace and then get into sales. Major news tomorrow, Jackson Hole speech, Jerome Powell is dovish last year. To be honest, I'm not sure how gold is gonna behave this time around the Jackson Hole speeches. You know, it's obviously not the same as last year. There's a lot of economical and fundamental things that happened. You know, we have a new Fed chairman. Trump is played with World War III. You know, I think last year it didn't bring that much volatility to gold, but I think this year could be different just because we have so much going on. Do you guys even listen to him? He said about 10 times what to do now. Yeah, people just don't listen. Not saying everyone, but I know there is a few who just want to jump into trades and expect to make 10K in 10 minutes. I bought at 1600. Yeah, for a scalp, this is a perfect entry. But so far, there is nothing telling us that gold is gonna go higher. And like I said, any moves higher is just gonna be a retracement for us to get into sales. I believe good until 100, 150 pips. It could be. You already got like 60 pips. But so far it's just respecting that previous candle. You know, so far every push down, even though it's retracing, it's respecting that previous high. So eventually it's either gonna melt all the way to the bottom, or it's gonna break one of these highs and give you confirmation that it could potentially start retracing a bit higher. But so far it's just respecting every high it's made, so it's not giving you that confirmation for a buy. We have unemployment data coming out today. I think it'll come bearish for gold. I mean, the data we have today is not really relevant. We have NFP next week, so that's gonna be fun. How often do you stream and what time? This week I've been doing streams daily at 6 a.m. UK time. So we can trade the 630 injections. Will Jackson Hole news affect gold price on Friday? It could, Like I said a few minutes before, last year when we had the Jackson Hole events, it didn't really do much to the gold price. But I think this year, because there was just so much going on, like the new Fed chairman and Trump playing with World War III, it could bring extra volatility to the price. But honestly, I'm not sure if it's gonna cause any big movements unless they say that something that is extremely surprising. What makes traders not become profitable? Just jumping into trades when they shouldn't be. If there's no trade, just close the chart and go and do something else. Manipulation dildo coming tomorrow. But it better be a red dildo, let the shorts come through. There is something I study on the 630 injection and it always works for me. I hardly lost a trade in a week. And I'm happy to study more because I need confidence before a new trade I start this year. I mean, I've been saying it for months now. The 630 injections, they are always giving us hundreds of pips every single day. Unless there is a holiday or something else, then obviously no. But outside of that, every single day, we get big moves. 630 opened, and we got literally 220 pips in 40 minutes. Right on time every day. Yesterday, 630 opened, we had 250 pips in 50 minutes, and if you held that trades longer, you could have got more than 600 pips right from that 630 open. But like I said, right now, every time gold pulls back, it pulls back to the previous high. So nothing gives you the confirmation that it's gonna keep buying. If we pull back and any of these recent highs would be broken, that's your confirmation that you could potentially start buying. But right now, there is zero confirmation. You must have lost a lot of money and a lot of mistakes to be this calm. I did. And I still do. Even if you become profitable, it's not like you just don't lose. It's even worse because when you become profitable and you start making a lot of money, then you just end up losing a lot of money too. Like 5 years ago, my P&L was like 100 up, 100 down. Right now, my P&L can go from 510K up to 510K down. When you're watching your money swing 4 or 5 figures, then you have to be calm. You can't be making emotional decisions. And I can't lie, I think being in front of you live just helps me trade better too. You know, obviously I got people watching me, so I can't be doing stupid shit. But off stream, I can still do some dumb things and lose money. Yeah, I think gold is gonna go for that retest now. So let's see if we get a retracement higher. Silver already gave us that sweep and is pushing. So if silver pushes into this range, gold should at least sweep this and potentially push into this range. On the 1 minute, you had the break of those previous structures, so the retracement is looking good now. So if we're lucky enough, maybe we can get a trade on stream today. If not, like I would just still continue holding the shorts, and we should just go below that low eventually. In your early years of trading, did you ever go full margin, even when your trades were in drawdown, waiting for the price to come back? Every time, like full margin every time. I never traded 1% per trade. And obviously I didn't always go full margin on every trade, but I would always use like 5, 10, sometimes 20% on a trade, because I just didn't have that much capital to trade 1%. So I just had no choice but to flip accounts. I'm curious, how do you deal with psychology, managing $1 million accounts, how to go from $1 billion to that $16 million or so? I never made $16 million. I think you're talking about the cent account. So if you're talking about the cent account, then just get rid of 2 zeros. Because I'm not a millionaire yet. Like I haven't made, I mean, maybe across the 8 years that I've been trading, maybe I got close to $1 million in total profits. But then obviously I don't have $1 million in my account now. I made well over 6 figures, but not a millionaire yet. So let's see. If we get lucky, maybe we can get something like this today. Did silver retest? Not yet. Like silver looks like it just broke out of this range, so it should go for the retest. So let's just wait and see. But for now, this should just continue pushing up and maybe give us an entry a bit higher. How to flip accounts? Like if I want to flip 200 to 2K, then what should I do? And how many 200 I need as backup? As much as you can. Like even when I flip accounts, like obviously most of the accounts, they get blown. But when you get consistent enough and good enough, even when you get that one big win, you can just let your accounts run and make up for all the previous losses that you did. So obviously if you don't have that many 200 accounts to trade with, then don't go full margin. Just try maybe splitting that account into like 5 trades and just try to make sure that the first 1 or 2 trades that you take is gonna be the best trade. Because if you can like double your account on that first trade, like that's gonna give you a lot more confidence and just a lot more margin to play with later. Did you ever thought of giving up? What made you sick with the grind? How did you survive the days? I thought about giving up many times, but for me, like there was no other way out. It was either I'll make it as a trader, or I'm gonna be working a 9 to 5 for the rest of my life. Possibility to retest 4609. It could, like this would be the first area we could see some resistance. But if we get a bit more momentum now, then we could go for that higher range where we could look to sell. Which indicator is the one which produces the green and red boxes? It's not an indicator. This is me drawing my zones. Why is it that silver and gold relate? Because they are 2 precious metals. Gold and silver always go in sync. You never see gold going up and silver going down. Like they are always in sync. Obviously there's gonna be like small differences, but overall they are both precious metals. Why are all these traders offering these challenges and funded accounts? Is it because they get the 10%? Well, some of them get even more. And because you guys keep failing the challenges, they get money every time. You know, I've seen traders who literally bought like 100, 200 challenges and lost most of them, never got paid. Ever thought about splitting the live sessions for like VIP who really want to learn, and the others? Yes, that's what's gonna happen now. I've been doing the live streams for VIP before, but this week I just wanted to do a full week of public live trading sessions. So next week I'm gonna go back to doing some for VIP and some for the public. And so far, a sweep of that structure point has given us a rejection, but it's still not good enough to sell. You know, at this point, you don't want to sell at the bottom of a range. What can we get out of VIP? You can get the bubbles indicator, you can have signals, other indicators too, community where we talk about other trades or just me helping other people with the analysis and other things. And obviously you get a lot of educational materials too, like videos, exams and other things. What about your trading edge? Yeah, that's also there. That's in the educational videos. And so you can just see how I trade and just describe every different aspects like drawing the zones, structures, volume. And we got hundreds of people inside. So if you just wanna ask questions in the community, then there's a lot of people who can also help you, and you guys can share trades with each other even when I'm not active. How many days is a range of support resistance valid? Now, that question doesn't make much sense. It's valid until it's broken. Like, the time has nothing to do with it. 600 points, 775 pips. That's good. When is it the right time to take a sell? Once we approach the top of this range, then we can start seeing how the price reacts. If it shows us any signs that this range is gonna be rejected, then that's gonna be good to end the sales. Are you gonna end the stream in 5 minutes? Not yet. Now I'm just gonna wait to see if we can get a push up and get an entry on stream. But so far we have that little structure point I mentioned earlier, and it's getting rejected. And silver did pretty much retest the previous range. So if the silver starts melting now, then we may not even come up to retest that top of that range. What are the signs that a range will be rejected? Let me just use this as an example. Obviously, I'm not saying this is what's going to happen now, but let's say price starts pushing higher, volume starts dying, and then we see like at least a tiny volume spike with a push down, and maybe ideally like a structure break. Like this would be good enough for you to see that the zone is getting rejected, so you could just get into a sell. Sound is low. I tried to make it higher now. Should be better. But I think I just need to buy like a microphone stand so I can have the microphone closer to my face. Because right now I don't have a stand for it, so it's just standing on my desk and it's away from my face. Till what time you'll be here with us? I'm gonna stay for like an extra 30 minutes, see if we can get a retracement a bit higher. So maybe we can get an entry. Is that area around 46.20 for potential sales? Yes. I tried to go against the market and your analysis, buy gold, then pay the price and losses both days. Yeah, it's better to not go against the trend. You can go against me, that's fine, but don't try to fight the trend. You know, so far the trades we took on stream this week, we had good buys on Monday, buys on Tuesday, turned into sells later, then sells yesterday, and today no entry so far. But if we get a nice push into this area, then maybe we can get an entry on stream. What do you think will happen when London opens? If we're lucky, we can get a push higher into our range where you can start looking for sells. I had a short at 46.24 this night. I have seen there was an order block you have marked here with a green line. Was your OB more valid since it broke structure to the downside? Which one are you referring to? Are you talking about this one? Oh, this line. I mean, I don't trade order blocks. Like, this is just a structure point. Even if you were gonna trade order blocks, like, this is not what an order block looks like. The line is there because there was a structure sweep. You know, an order block is a candle like this. This green candle is an order block because it was the last push up which got engulfed by the red candle and there was nothing retesting that area. So that's an order block. But right here, there's nothing that says order block. This is just a structure point. And most of the time, order blocks get swept. So you're better off just trading structure and not order blocks. Do you trade gold or other stuff too? I just trade gold. the red and green boxes, which are the red on top of the green, which show data once you hover over them, they produced by your indicator. No, like this is just a trade projection tool. So this is me just showing that we can potentially look for a trade that looks like this once we retrace to that area. But so far, this structure point got rejected. Silver rejected that range. So it looks like the momentum is very strong, so we could not even get a retracement to this area. Few days to monthly candle close, irrelevant. How big is the stop loss on the short you got set up on the chart? Like, it's not set up, like this is just like an idea. You know, the stop loss is just gonna be above that structure point, but we wanna see how price reacts if we get to this level. Where is potential TP if we sell entry? If we can sell from here, then the TP1 would be around this low, and then you can hold the rest of the trade up to this range or below that low. Did I see some picture you have a tattoo? I do. This is what it looks like. How do you know when the volume of sellers is coming in? You don't know. You just use structure and price action to figure out. But so far, you guys can see every structure point that's visible on the chart, like most of the time, it gives a reaction. So we just swept above that point, and now we're just going with the momentum now. Do I sell now? No, you go to sleep. If you got into a sell now, then your stop loss should go above that structure point. And I don't think you want to have a 150 pip stop loss. Because this would be very risky, because we could still go for a retest higher of that range. Do you think it could just continue pushing down from here? It could. The momentum is looking strong. You know, if we don't retrace into this zone and we just continue pushing down, then this would be like a good area for us to potentially look for a trade later on and then get into a trade, you know, on this retracement. This is how you trade, just following the price. So you're not trying to FOMO in, you're not trying to predict where the price is gonna go, you just let it go where it wants to go, and then you just follow the original bias. Yeah, just wait for the market to come to you. Waiting for London Open would be the smart thing to do before making a play. At this point, yeah, because we just have 20 minutes to the London Open. You know, like I said last time, London is pretty useless for gold. It doesn't really do anything. But maybe we could just see like a little spike into the top of the range and just continue. You know, on the higher time frames, this is still looking pretty good for a sell. Just don't have that much momentum now, so we just have to wait. Now, even if you just compare that volume, like it's not that big, in my opinion, to continue pushing above the highs. And on the 1 minute, there's two things happening right now. Had that push, took out that structure, it got respected, so you can say this push down was a shift in structure. So as long as we don't break that high, we should continue lower now. If we do break that high, then this range is next. You know, on the 1 minute, you have something like this. So as long as we don't break above that high, we should just continue going down. the cost of living in Bali affordable, and why did you choose to live there? You pay tax from your trades to your home country. I mean, it is affordable, but depends how you want to live. Because for this villa that I have here, I pay more than I would pay for an apartment in central London. So it just depends. Because technically you could just rent a house for like 500 quid a month. But it's obviously it's not gonna be very good. And if you end up like eating out every day at like Western restaurants, then the food expenses can add up too. But if you're gonna live your life like a local, then it's gonna be cheap. But if you wanna have some luxury and live good, then it can get expensive. And I chose to live here because my girlfriend lives here. So that's the reason why I'm in Bali. And when it comes to taxes, whatever you don't withdraw and you keep in your trading account, or you try to withdraw for crypto and put it into some other things, then you don't have to pay tax on it. So even if you make good profits from trading, technically on paper, you can make yourself look like you make a lot less. Do you trade for a company? Yes. So you only take out enough for food and rent. I mean, I take out a bit more, but obviously it's better just to keep most of your money away from your bank. And obviously when I say crypto, things like exchanges like Binance or Coinbase, like most governments, if you live in the UK, they can still check your Coinbase or Binance account. So just try to use like cold wallets or other things. So the money doesn't go to an exchange, it goes to your wallet. Can you please post trade summary daily in your group? I mean, if you're watching the live and we took a trade live, then I think a 2-hour breakdown is much better because you can learn a lot more. And as you guys can see, this little shift, this rejection is driving the price down. This is the sort of thing you can look at on the 1-minute time frame when you're trading. Obviously, this type of shift can happen anywhere. So you just have to pay attention that it happens at a key level. Like this green line that we had, we marked it because we had this green candle, which created a structure point for us to grab onto. And this rejection down, breaking that previous structure, is what gave us a signal that this structure is gonna help push the price down. And then we just had a retracement, bit of accumulation to this initiation area, and it's pushing now. It still doesn't mean that we're gonna go below this low, because this lower part of the range could still be respected and continue pushing higher. But this is just something you could be watching out for if you're gonna watch the 1-minute chart. Can you pay out from Vantage with the crypto? Yes. Most of my withdrawals from Vantage are in crypto. So how do you transfer your profits from your trading account directly to your crypto account? Well, most brokers, like Vantage, for example, they offer crypto withdrawals. Have you tried to teach your girlfriend how to trade? Not yet, but I'm getting to it. The price is just consolidating for the past half an hour. Should we just wait until we see a clear movement and then enter a trade? Well, that's up to you. Like for us, the bias is to sell, but at this point, like the price is just too low for me to enter sales. I would prefer to see a bigger retracement where we could enter a sell. And obviously, I'm still holding the sales ahead yesterday. I added more sales around today's highs. So for me, entering at the bottom of the range, it just doesn't make sense now, even if we continue selling off. What's the volume injection indicator? How does it help you? Like for me, it doesn't matter as much because I don't need an indicator, but I've built it around the 630 window, so the bubbles give you the bias. I mean, the bubbles give the bias to my community members, so they can trade the 630 injections without me. So if you join my community, you're just gonna get access to the bubble indicator, which is one of the indicators that I built around the strategy. So whether I'm trading live, you can just use that and trade without me. The indicator just gives you the bias before the 630 opens. Where the sales you added today posted in VIP, one of them was because I did enter a sales here initially, which obviously got straight into drawdown, and then we had other sales around this area. So these sales were posted in the VIP. Does Vantage have a minimum deposit? They don't. I think the lowest you can deposit is like $10. How much did your new setup cost? Maybe around 5k pounds. I got the studio display, so that was like 1.4. I got the Mac Mini with some added storage spaces, so that was like 1.5. And the desk, the chair, screen, so that goes to like close to 5k in total. So Vantage is not part of the CRS reporting system, meaning it doesn't automatically send data to European financial authorities. No. I mean, it also depends, because if you sign up as a UK resident, you are gonna sign up with the CRS. So if you have like a different nationality, then you could use that to sign up and just skip the whole CRS part. So then they don't have to report anything to the financial authorities. But for the most part, like that someone like HMRC in UK, they don't have access to check your trading accounts. And Vantage themselves, they don't need to provide your financial data to any authorities. You know, being a regulated broker mostly means that they just have to disclose that they actually have money to support your withdrawals, that, you know, everything is legit. But as a broker, they don't really care if you pay taxes or not. It's not their business. Where will I take profits if my trade keeps going? If we could break below this low, then I would probably start closing my trades just like around the lower part of this zone. You know, if we do get like a lucky 500 pip candle down, then maybe I'm gonna hold the trades up to here. But I would rather get out of the trades this week, so no matter where we end up, I would just close my trade somewhere today or tomorrow. What is the fee if I keep holding the trades for a few days? I mean, it's not that much. It's only like 20 quid per lot. You know, but once you're up multiple 4 or 5 figures, then it doesn't really matter. And if you guys trade on the 1 minute time frame, then you should definitely save this in your playbook. We mark this structure level on the 5 minute. Obviously, we have no idea if that level is going to be rejected or not. But if you check the 1 minute, we had a rejection, which took out that previous structure low, retracement into this initiation candle and the mode. So this is a perfect continuation setup. But obviously, like I said, price is already too low for me to enter. I already have entries stuck from yesterday. So this is just not where I would like to enter my trades. But setup wise, this is perfect. And we should go for the low of this range now. Please do reply to my query. What did you ask? I don't see your question. 93 may be R. I'm not sure what that means. Which wallets would you recommend? To be honest, any cold wallet is good enough. You know, like a Ledger crypto wallet or Trezor, like they are both fine. So far, nothing's changing. We could just get like a tiny wick because the London opened and just continue pushing down. How did you know to enter at the very top? Did you open more lots on the pullback? I opened more lots on this pullback, but like I said, I had my first entry around this area, which just got straight into drawdown, and I just added another entry after the sweep. And you know, as we got on stream today, like price was already melting and it was already too low for me to just add any more trades. So to answer your question, Joseph, if there are trades that we take live on stream, then obviously the stream is recorded. So I don't post any breakdowns later on. You can just go back and watch the stream. You know, it's better to watch the entire stream and see everything we talked about than just get like a 2 sentence breakdown. As for the bonus, yes, once you sign up with Vantage for the first time, you get 150% bonus. Just when you sign up and you fund your account, you're just gonna have to contact support on the live chat and say that you want the credit, and they are gonna credit it to your account. London didn't make no difference. Yeah, that nobody is trying to buy now. The selling momentum is too strong. If we check like the 4 hour, this is looking perfect just to continue melting. And the daily, like pretty much flipped the entire candle now. So if this daily flips entirely and we go below that yesterday's low, then we could easily just melt like 500 pips. So is there a limit to the amount of bonus I can get? On your first deposit, you get 150% bonus. On any deposit after that, you get 50%. And I think there is maybe like a 5K limit. So or maybe 10K. It may depend on the country that you're from. But the 50% deposit bonus applies to any deposit, as far as I know. But the 150% one may have like a 10K limit. It just depends what country you're from. Yeah, if you make a withdrawal, they don't take the credit back because it's not like they give you actual money. It's just extra credit in your account which you can use as leverage. What's the minimum to join your group? You just need at least 300 quid in your account, just so you got some funds to trade with, and then you're good. You're from UAE? Yeah, so I think UAE clients have like a 10k limit on the first 150 bonus. I'm so confused. Should I take a buy on 950 or need to wait? None of us are buying today on stream. All we're looking for is sells. If you're gonna try to buy, just take some small scalps and then eventually get into a sell. Right now, as London opened, we could see a push to retest this area. If that area gets rejected, we're gonna continue melting. If we break through, that we may go for the top of this range, or maybe even a sweep of that structure. You know, at this point, if the London breaks this high, then we could easily just go take out this structure point as well. But obviously this would be the first stop that I would look for and try to get into sells. But if we just keep respecting that area, then we should just continue melting. How is silver? Silver's melting. It's still stuck in this range, but it looks like it's gonna melt, so gold maybe just retesting this high, making that wick on that 1 hour London open candle, but we should just continue below that low. What is the longest time that you hold a trade? Is it winning or losing? I think the longest time I ever held a trade was like 4, 5 weeks, but that was a very, very long time ago. And that was a winning trade. So I was just like flipping a small account and adding baby lots as gold was trending higher. So that's why I was holding the trade so long. But for a losing trade, I think the longest I held was like 3 weeks because I was at a drawdown at that time. And that was also a very long time ago, and I just didn't want to accept the loss. But eventually it did turn into green, and I ended up making money on it. You keep saying the bias is sells, but getting to buy scalps. I think you're not listening, mate. What time frame are you displaying currently? This is 5 minutes. How do you mark your structure points? Like any clear structure point is like any low or any high as a structure point. The reason I had this one marked was because price was pushing down and we expected the momentum to continue. That's why I used the top of that green candle as a structure point. Obviously the high of this would be a structure point. We have a green candle within this bearish push, so that's also a structure point. Is it healthy for it to keep dumping with no real pullback? Right now, yes. Because right now, we've been pumping with no actual pullback. So it's healthy for the price to just continue dumping without major pullbacks. Just like we were pumping all the way up to here, we reached that point that we started dumping. So now we just reached that same point. We continued pumping, no major pullbacks. So this is just showing us that price may be shifting now, just like we had here, and then we could expect a retracement down. Okay, Tyrese has officially been put on timeout for a week, so no more talking shit on the chat. $46.80, and that really was a better deal. Do you think we will have a good trade today like previous trades? Honestly, right now, I don't think we're gonna get any entries on stream, so I'm gonna go soon. But if we do start retracing higher, then this would be the first place I would look to sell. If we go a bit higher, then this would be even better. But right now, like nothing is telling you to buy, just keep selling. Even if we, like I said before, even if we just continue selling now, like this range is gonna give you something to grab onto. So if we retrace, you can start looking to enter around this area, just continue selling. If we don't get any pullbacks to one of these areas that I mentioned. For you, where is the pivot point on daily to switch to bearish again? I've been bearish since Tuesday. So I think if you mean bullish, well, I guess if we break above this high now, then we are gonna turn bullish. But until this high breaks, all I'm seeing is sells. If the price is moving up but volume keeps decreasing on price in 4-hour time frame, what does that mean? The volume on a 4-hour time frame is irrelevant. Now, obviously, sometimes you could see like big spikes around certain levels, but overall on the 4-hour, the volume doesn't tell you anything special. You know, especially now, because like if you look at the previous volume, let's say from 23, you can see that volume is steadily increasing. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. It just means that there is more traders and more volume in the market every single year. And obviously there was a lot of volume during that 2022 crash. But overall, like on the higher time frames, the volume doesn't give you any details. So it doesn't matter. Like 5 minutes is the perfect time frame for volume to be utilized. How do you know a valid structure point? You don't. You wait for that structure to be tapped and then you see how the price is reacting. If it gives you a rejection, then it's a sign that your structure point is valid. If it just breaks through, then there's nothing for you to do. You go to the next one. What type of account have you got in Vantage? The standard account. That's the best one in the long run because you pay no commissions for trades. You just pay the spread. ECN accounts, they not only charge you spreads, but they charge you commissions. So even though you think it may be better because you get a lower spread, you pay a commission. So it kind of evens out. That's why standard accounts are better. Yes, if it goes down, like I showed you before, and it retraces to this area, your stop loss could go above that high. Do you think it's possible to retrace to 3400 before the end of the year? I don't think it's gonna go that low this year. You know, we only got like 4 months left. But maybe early next year, that's something we could be looking out for. You know, I think there's gonna be, even if we break down below 4K, there's just gonna be a lot of resistance below that area. You know, for gold going into this zone, like it's not something we've seen in a very long time, and it's not something I think most people expect. You know, they just think gold's gonna continue going to the highs every single time. So I think a bear market for gold is very likely, but getting down here, it can take a very long time. So I wouldn't say it's gonna happen by the end of this year, but maybe sometime next year. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna go now because it doesn't look like we're gonna get any momentum for that retracement. So like I said, if we just continue breaking down now, obviously the low of this range could potentially give us some retracement. If it doesn't, if we break below that low, that's even better because that could get us that volume and that momentum to push up. And then this is gonna turn into a range which could be retested, so you could start looking for trades here and then continue down. But if we end up getting a retracement a bit earlier, then you know we always have this zone to look for a trade. But if we don't get any retracements up here, then this is something that could happen maybe as we get closer to the NY session. So yeah, unfortunately, no trades on stream today, but I know many of you still caught the sells because you followed the bubbles. But hopefully, maybe we can get a trade tomorrow. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow, guys.